everyone, this is the sped up version real quickly. This is a video of me doing a freehand self-portrait of myself. We're gonna go over several key points during this video tutorial, but first most important lesson, eyes middle of the head. So take the time to make sure you put in those guiding lines in your head. Please make sure you do that. And then make sure you know like where the nose is halfway down, and then the lips are halfway down again. Now, I am going super light, right? But eventually you need to have the courage to go darker, right? So you bring down the value slowly. So first lesson, proportions. Second lesson, bring down the value slowly. Third lesson, you should keep working at it, okay? Don't stop and have the courage to go darker. Keep working, have the courage to go darker. Fourth, make sure you're moving all over your page. We talked about this during the still life unit when we were drawing 3D objects. Work at your eyes a little, but then take a break, do the background. Fifth lesson, I think I'm on number 5. Make sure you're looking at your reference photo and looking at yourself in the mirror more so than you are looking, because sometimes we obsess and we get lost, and then you bring down the values darker. You could keep watching this video afterwards. You actually should, and see me kind of talk more about the journey of doing this 1 hour portrait. The video is 30 minutes long after this, so please guys keep watching. And then I'm slowly bringing down the value around the head, right? So you bring down that background and then you have the light on your face. So give yourself the time to bring down the background. Sixth lesson, if I could add one, is only do your like shading, like when you smudge in the background. Don't smudge too much on your face, because then you're going to be like losing very dark, very, very important values, because you want to have every value, right? You want to have your dark and you want to have your light. Seventh lesson, just think hard boundaries versus soft boundaries. So where are you having a hard edge? The only hard edges are probably the top of your eyes, right? And then the side of your face. Maybe right here you have a little bit of hard edge right there, but everything's pretty soft. And what do I mean by that? You're slowly going light to dark. And you're adding thousands of little lines. So keep working at it. Keep moving around the page. Make sure you have all different values as you're working on this. And do a small one. Do small ones in your journal. Tons of small ones everywhere. Small practice faces. Then do an 8.5 by 11 and eventually do the larger one on the watercolor paper. In my class, some of the students are going to be trying to use a grid, but not all of them. And then, yeah, and like love yourself and see. 8th lesson, I think I'm on number 8. Love yourself, see the beauty in yourself. Bye. So before I show you the slower version of me drawing the face, I wanted to point out some things related to proportions. So hopefully you, before you sketch, on your bigger paper, right? You want to do several smaller sketches in your sketchbook, and then, you know, one that's the size of your sketchbook. And I want you to review and see the basic proportions in your face. So remember the big old circle and then the trapezoid underneath for the jaw. And I actually think this circle should be a little larger just because I got a big old head. The central line in the middle is curved because in this demo, I am looking to the side. Right? So because I'm looking to the side, it's going to be curved all the way down. See, the central line is curved because I'm looking this way. Because my eyes are kind of facing down, the central line is going to be curved down. So they're not necessarily all the way straight cross. And then you should divide in the middle for the nose, on the bottom, and then the mouth. Now, it's not always perfect, so you're going to make adjustments, right? So I'm kind of connecting the top and the bottom, trying to make adjustments because I'm seeing that my head's a little bit bigger. So I think my trapezoid should have been smaller, going back and looking at this. And then like take the time to like carve in your eyes, carve in your nose, and ask yourself, okay, well, does everything look like it's in the right spot? Like really take the time to think about that. Let me just like zoom in a little bit. Yep. And then you're going to carve in your nose. So this is a step that I would take once again before you do a practice face, before you do your final, right? You got to just kind of like take the time to get the proportions and post this to Seesaw. Like post the photo of you like measuring out the proportions and using guiding lines. You could use color and everything. Now, if you're looking over, it's like, why is all this hair? Because when I drew this photo, I had tons of bangs, and my bangs were so long, they would go all the way up to my eyes, like really shaggy. So you have to like bring in your hair and show where it's covering your face. Now, if you look at the side, you kind of see like the side of your head goes in and then it goes out, right? So you'll start to carve that in. So you have to ask yourself, am I going to do my face full on? Am I going to do it to the side? And then take that reference photo. And yeah, take the time to like erase if you need to erase. You may need to erase. You may like stop, look back, be like, okay, that looks weird. Again, post to Seesaw and then directly ask for feedback. If you need any feedback or support, be like, hey, miss, do you think my eyes are in the right place? Something looks funny. So as we kind of like go into this unit, as you're drawing your face, I really want you to make sure you're asking yourself, does everything look okay? Does everything look right? Okay, I'm kind of curving things down, carving things out, carving around, adding in any sort of like little details, and like you take the time to make adjustments. I wanted to grab the gray right here, and I wanted to just show you, talk briefly that all this is a soft boundary. Like when you're like shading the side of the nose, you're going to go super light. But a soft boundary, I mean you're shading kind of light. It's not a direct line. So I wanted to point out all the different places where you would add light shading. Self-portrait demo without a grid. A lot of my students are working on doing a draft right now in art class. And this drawing is sped up ×2. Just so my students and everyone knows I'm speeding it up just a little. In class, we are working on how the eyes are actually in the middle of the face. So you can do a guiding line, or you could go ahead and, you probably can't see. I already did do the guiding line, but this is just a reminder, like I did it so light. So when you're doing a portrait, the lights are so light. So I made a light line across, and now I'm just carving out the eyes. What I want my students to realize, pay attention to, is look how I'm holding the pencil, right? So I'm holding the pencil super like light, like so. And now I'm just going ahead and I'm carving in the eyes. Or the nose. So what I already did is I already put all of my guiding lines in there super light. So I know where the bottom of the nose is going to be, and I know where my eyes are going to be. So now I'm carving in the other eye. And notice how light the left and the right eye are. I'm really going back and forth, and I'm making sure that they're the same. And then I have a light kind of sketch of my nose in there. And I'm slowly darkening in the pupil. I like to start kind of with the eye, so I get a sense of what I'm doing. It motivates me to see the eye. And now I'm circling, I'm like making that ball of the nose, around right here. The end of our nose is actually a sphere. And now I'm dancing around, and I'm getting the shadows and the soft boundaries underneath the face. So I'm really kind of like going all over the place, and notice I'm like going super light, and I'm getting my eraser, and I'm probably going to make some adjustments. No dark heavy lines, right? Like all just super light, almost like shading, little marks, little shading, little hatches. Now I'm turning my pencil to the side and I'm really trying to get lightly that shadow at the side. So I'm going to tell all my students that it's about keep continuing to work at it. And I'm kind of like, you know, measuring where the nose is in comparison to the eyes, putting in a darker shadow under the nose, going ahead and shading right here, underneath here, the shadows underneath here, and the beginning of the lips. And in this portrait, when I'm drawing, I'm actually kind of on the side. So I'm kind of going on the side as well. Yeah, and I can hear my kids in the background of this video. So again, I'm going back to holding the pencil and really darkening the lips. So almost everything is light. No lines are complete. Yes, they're very, very super light. And this week you can, you know, from your reference photo, like Miss Hibbler is talking about in class, do a super, super light drawing of yourself like this. And I invite you to keep practicing, keep doing drawings of yourself. And you should be looking at yourself. I was looking at myself in the mirror while I was doing this. You can go ahead and you can use your phone. I recommend drawing from the mirror and just seeing yourself. I had a hood on when I did this. I'm kind of going up, drawing the hood. And wow, I just went in, I darkened the pupil, right? And like one thing I'm not seeing in the portraits right now on Seesaw, pouring coffee, is I am not seeing like those dark values because we're scared to go dark. So where are the dark values? The pupil, right? The top of the eye, right here, like the top of the eyelashes are super dark because all the eyelashes come together. They make a really dark line. The pupil is that little black dot in the middle of our eye. Then outside, it's kind of like super light. So make sure you are doing that as you carve in, carve around. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror right now and I'm stopping every once in a while and I'm making adjustments and I'm adding. So I stop, look in the mirror, add a little bit more. Really, really darkening the corner of the eye right here too. So you're picking little notes of dark value to darken around. Take your eraser. Remember, you draw with your eraser too. So I'm pulling away. And to draw a portrait is just such a great exercise. Taking the eraser, going back in. And you notice I'm having a hard time getting like that value up as I erase. That's because I'm using like a B pencil. So start off with an H pencil. Okay, carving in around the nostrils. Soft boundary, right? I'm not making a line right here. Okay, carving around the side. Awesome. And then slowly bringing things down. Great. Darkening around the eyelid. When I did this, I had bangs. So what you see is I'm slowly working the shadow underneath my hair. Now notice again, remember my eyes are halfway down my face. Halfway down. Darkening under the nostril, right? I'm not going to draw a big old hole right there. It's a light, soft boundary shadow. And it's not a line underneath here. There are little shadows that kind of go in. Turning the pencil aside. Now I have this big old shadow going up the side of my nose. Again, notice how you're holding the pencil when you draw. Are you holding it like this or this? And you're going really light, feathery. And notice how I'm dancing all over, right? I'll do my hair, then I'll go back down. Okay, go to the side, make things kind of dark. Okay, shading in. Super cool, awesome. Kind of going ahead, shading in the side. really making like a choice about where those hard boundaries are. Carving out the nose, or the chin right there. So that is a hard boundary all the way around the edge. So you make a choice. Okay, the head is ending there. Notice that there are very few dark lines during this whole thing. Now, once I make a choice about the hard boundary, I'm going to go in and I'm going to shade my background. Right? And that's going to help things to come forward in space. Going ahead, shading up the side. Shading up the side of the cheek. Really soft boundary. This is more of a hard boundary on the edge because this is the end of my face. But this is soft over here because I got my neck right here. So I'm not going to go as super dark. Dancing all around the page. Pulling up slightly with the eraser. You notice I'm having a hard time getting everything up. I'm drawing on watercolor paper like some of you guys are doing. I did use guiding lines, but it was so light you didn't see. Okay, now I'm taking the time to zoom in to kind of like really try to show you guys. Again, I recommend doing 8.5 by 11 as a practice and then going in and then working on your watercolor paper if you're not doing the grid. Okay, really darkening the edges of the eyes. But they're still light lines. They're just, I'm doing a lot of light lines, right? So move all around the page. Super light lines. And then you're doing a lot. It takes a lot of lines. It takes a lot of marks. It takes a lot of shading. And what we're seeing in portfolios in my class is like folks need to take more time to work at it. You can't give up on a drawing. It's time consuming. And I feel like my left eye is bigger, but it's probably because it's closer. Really darkening things up, making choices. Now I'm bringing in the midtones in the eye. Notice how there's a highlight in the eye. And darkening the side. So ask yourself, like, where are the light grays? Light grays are at the side of the nose. The sides of the eyes. The light grays build those soft boundaries, right? Light hatching at the side. Notice how many different directions the pencil's going. The pencil shows the direction that the cheeks are going. And super light. Super light at the side. I'm not going to draw a big old line. I'm going to lightly shade at the side. Okay, shading super lightly. Going very, very light, dancing all over. And then showing like this kind of is sort of like a box that comes out. So I'm kind of like shading down right there. Dancing all over. Now again, bangs. So my hair is like really messy, rough, and like having those messy, expressive lines helps. I'm doing a ball around the side. Okay, kind of catching the shadow. Going very, very light. Darkening right here underneath the lip. Okay, so I'm going from the hair to the eyes to the lips. You bring things down slowly. Move all over. Okay, dark values are last, right? You're going crazy light at the beginning. Crazy light, so light you hardly even see my guiding lines anymore. very, very light under the nose. And it's about the frequency of lines, right? All the lines are light, but you're doing so many that it gets dark. And then every once in a while, you press down hard, right? But it's like very, very light all over. This gives you the freedom to erase if you feel like the proportions are in the wrong spot. Okay, now I'm shading. This is a sweatshirt that's around my head. So I'm kind of bringing that down. And the sweatshirt's a dark value. It's like a dark blue, so I have no problem. Now I'm getting some shadows in. So when you look at your face, it's not a collection of lines. It's a collection of shadows. Yes? Bringing down with the eraser. Again, I was working with a B pencil. I would work with an H pencil. And then work with the B at the end. But eventually you need to bring the value down. You know, a lot of kids like never do. You need to eventually make a choice. So you're going light, 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 light. Boom, you make your dark value choice. Okay, you darken the top of the lids. So there are notes of dark value around the face that guides the eye throughout the face. The eyes, in between the lips, the side. Everything else is a light tone. Right? Everything else is like medium value, light. It's very, very delicate. And that's why we do this in March. You know, we work with like human anatomy the second semester, February. But you could do this exercise anytime throughout the year. Draw yourself for the rest of your life. It's like a good thing. Okay, so bringing down the shadow around here, around the eye, you just kind of like look for shadows. Take the time to look for those light shadows on your face. And you know what's interesting? We don't see them. We don't look at ourselves. We don't appreciate the beauty that's inside of us, like on the outside, inside and out. And so you have to like look for those shadows. I'm really getting in front of the drawing a lot in this demo, I'm sorry. But okay, so I'm using some side ellipses to show the curve of the sweatshirt. Putting in shadows underneath the lips. So I'm working really large here. I started this video saying you could start, you know, doing a medium draft of your face. This week, you know, you really want to do the pencil of watercolor on your face. Okay, zooming out so you can kind of see where I'm going. And now I did a lot of close-up work of my face, so I'm giving myself a break and I'm bringing down the value of the background. Doing that sweatshirt that's hanging around my face, shading things down. Okay, we always bring down the background. Now the face is a form, the face is a 3D form, and once you like lightly bring down all the values, like even look right now in this shot, everything's dark behind me. Everything's dark around my neck. So you slowly start bringing down the background and then it's going to come to life. Putting in some expressive lines on my hair, dancing all over the place. Now, does this look exactly like me? No, but that's okay. It looks like a face. Right? It doesn't look exactly like me because I'm not using the Chuck Close grid. But that's okay. Right? I'm like moving forward. And this is a 1 hour sketch. But it's done twice as fast. I sped it up. Okay, and no, I just did the finger thing where you blend with your finger. I have not done that yet. So like don't go in and start like blending like crazy with your finger. Okay, because it might take away like some of the shading. You can, but it could get a little messy. Dancing all over the place. Left, right, top, bottom. shading around the sweatshirt. So it's always like nice, like hair is usually at a darker value. Sweatshirt around me is a darker value. It's always nice when you take a break and you shade around your head. It's a nice break. Shade, shade, shade. Dance, dance, dance. Okay, notice how big old tall my head is. That's because the line, like the eyes are in the center of the head. Right there in the center. So the sweatshirt, like I have a big head. We all have big heads, right? But the sweatshirt kind of is going up all the way back here. So it goes on forever, right? Because like you see all of the side of the sweatshirt go back. So you're kind of like, maybe like, oh, that looks so big. But you notice now the eyes in the center of the head. You didn't see like my entire head before, but really a lot of my head is covered with the sweatshirt. We cover, look at me, I'm covering my forehead right now. We cover our forehead, we cover our head, and that's why we think the eyes are higher. But make sure when you're drawing yourself that your eyes are in the center of the head. Okay, shading down, bringing down the background slightly. Now I'm shading down under my neck. Shading around the sweatshirt. Okay, doing the end of the shirt right here. Shading the hair, going all over the place, bringing down the values slowly. Okay, now it looks like I'm going to go in and I'm going to really get that shadow underneath the sweatshirt. And I'm going to bring down the value of my hair. So I already kind of am showing the texture of my hair. A lot of messiness, going all over the place, a lot of expressive lines. And I'm layering in a shadow. So drawing is about layers. Yes? Like you go back, you bring down values. I'm showing a lot of lines. Hair, it takes a lot of lines. A lot of lines make dark values. Okay, bringing down like underneath the sweatshirt. Going sort of all over the place, having fun. Okay, and underneath the sweatshirt, there's no light. So that's where you're going to see the darkest value. No light. So again, notice you save your darkest values till the end. Right? Right? Go light. Like we started at the beginning of the year, light to dark. Light to dark. You got to know when you do your light. You got to know when you do your dark. Okay. Putting a clear dark boundary around the edge of the face. Blending a little up on the top. Okay, bringing down, showing that line at the of the sweatshirt. It's kind of like on the outside. And I feel very free here because I'm drawing outside of the face. Other lessons I could tell you guys, don't be afraid of doing this project. No, the only thing we should be afraid of in life is if we don't take action, is if we don't do anything. So don't be afraid. Just keep going. Just keep swimming. So I'm trying to slowly working in a line right there. Bringing down the value outside of the sweatshirt. Shading outside of the sweatshirt now in kind of a mid-tone. So sometimes it's soft, sometimes I'm shading, and then I'll add a dark line, because you make a distinction between when are you going to make a line, when are you not going to make a line, and you're asking yourself, where are those hard edges, where are those soft edges? And shading super light. Now I'm bringing down the background. I want to leave the sweatshirt kind of light because I want to show the highlights on the sweatshirt. I don't want to bring everything down. And we noticed in the still life project, some folks they color everything dark right away. No, you want to ease in. You want to ease in with light and then make a strong choice to make some edges dark. So I'm really framing my face in dark value right now. So people could see oh, this is the outside of a head. Slowly working in that dark outline. Lightly going in. Being very light, and you can't see what I'm doing, damn. Lightly shading in the side of the face. This was before I got my little phone arm to draw. Lightly shading around the head. And I mean, I'm showing all of this because you could see how long it takes to slowly bring things down. And slowly add in those midtones. And you're deciding what to bring down. Now the side of the cheek is super soft, right? It's you're slowly going dark to light. So you really got to work it in slowly. Okay, adding in shadows for the hair. Shading at the side of the nose, very slightly. Again, notice how many different directions I am holding the pencil. Going in dark, leaning in, stopping, leaning in, stopping. And why does my head pop out? Because I go in, and then I'm looking at myself in the mirror. So every time you see my head kind of go out of this shot, I'm actually looking at myself in the mirror. So again, I'm drawing myself in the mirror. This is how often you should be looking at your reference photo or looking at yourself. Okay, now I'm really bringing in the values underneath the lips. So you could see a full range of value around those lips. There are darks. And then there are lights. Okay, shading underneath the nose. Very soft boundary underneath the nose. So you see you have to remind yourself, do I see all different values? Do I see a 0? Do I see a 10? And you have to make sure you get all those different values with your face. Lightly shading underneath the eyes. Again, feathering. I'm feathering with the pencil. right? Now notice like only my nose is kind of like at a 0 value. Only my nose is at a light value. Super, super light. So when you do this practice sketch this week, what I really want to focus it on is that you have all 10 values going in. All 10 values. 0 to 10. Meaning you have white, you have the darkest you could do with your pencil, and you have everything in between. And you notice I'm like going in, I have some pretty dark values in my hair. I'm really darkening it up. And that's when you like finally make that decision where you go dark. But you want to have light areas too. You want to have a full range. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, everything. Darkening things up. Good morning. Come on in. I'm recording a demo for my students. Okay, now I'm like shading like at the side right now.
What's this?
I don't know, but just can you come all the way in so we can finish this demo? I'm shading the side. Say good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Tell them to do their homework.
Do your homework.
Okay, we're like drawing our face. Jacob, have you ever done a self-portrait?
Yes.
Okay, now I've like zoomed out and I'm doing kind of like final touches right now. Again, I spent an hour on this. You should spend that much, if not more. Right? And it's like practice. So you want to make sure your eyes are in the middle of the head. Got like a clear mouth and you have everything kind of like in between.
I'm only upstairs.
Okay, don't make noise. Are you the only one who's awake? Using a tissue on the background. Why am I using a tissue on the background? Because the background is far away. The face is forward. If you use a tissue on the front, like the front part of your face is going to lose focus. So shading, making things softer. Softening things up. Really softening the side of the neck. Again, you could do this as many times as you want. And, you know, it might not look right the first time. You might not like it, but still post it so you could get points. And then we could give you feedback and you could get more advice. Going in, making strong choices. With the tissue, softening things up with the tissue, not using the tissue on my face. Now I'm shading the side, making this a softer boundary. There's a hard boundary at the edge of my neck, but then the sweatshirt is a soft boundary. Softening the side of the sweatshirt, pulling in, moving lines all the way around. Notice how many different lines there are and how many different directions the lines are going. That's hatching right there. Putting in curvy hatching. But then I'm blending it a little. So you start to learn about how to use shading techniques in different ways. Okay, getting the background. Really hurrying with the background now. Spent all that time. Now I can really shade the background with the tissue, bringing the values down. I think I'm about done. Final touches. I'm going to talk about what to do if you want to work or go back to your portrait and work on it. So thank you everyone for watching this video. Please make sure You draw yourself 8.5 by 11. And then we will work on doing yourself with the watercolor even bigger. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you for watching. Do your homework, post to Seesaw, post what you like, and then ask for feedback during office hours. Bye now.